welcome to RANsquawk's EU morning briefing for Tuesday 25th of August 2009. Just going through half eight now, so taking a quick look around the markets and we've opened in the UK and Europe. Pretty much again a reflection of how things have fared in China. In particular the Shanghai Composite again coming under some quite heavy selling pressure in towards the latter part of trading. Did fall over 5% at one point, down as much as 5.5 at the low. Some rumours that the Chinese bank may need to raise capital on changes to capital adequacy requirements, of which we've seen talked about in the last 2 weeks or so, and also given the recent plunges in which we have seen in the Shanghai Composite. Also as well, participants looking at comments from the Premier Wen Jiabao, who did say that they would keep, as China would keep its monetary policy loose as the economy faces new difficulties, saying they shouldn't be overly optimistic. Again, at the close did see a bit of a bounce, but negative territory for the Shanghai Composite, finishing down 2.5%. That allied as well to the Nikkei finishing down 0.8% as well for the day, reversing the near 3.5% gain in which we saw yesterday. So at the moment in Europe, we are trading in the European bourses, in the DAX, CAC and the FTSE in the UK down around 0.5 to 0.7% lower, and on the sector basis it's the basic materials and the financials which are the lagging sectors thus far. Taking a look at some overnight news just worth recapping. On the global front, IMS Lipsky says signs are clear of renewed global growth and that progress is being made to overcome the crisis. Elsewhere, a couple of key points coming out of the US. US President Barack Obama, according to press articles across the board today, will nominate Ben Bernanke to a second term as chairman of the Federal Reserve today. No time being given when that official confirmation will be made, although it looks pretty much a dead cert and it pretty much fits with market expectation. Elsewhere, the Obama administration is bracing for a political backlash today when it issues national debt numbers that will show US federal debt rising by $9 trillion in the next decade, significantly higher than the forecast it made earlier this year. The revision will be adding some $2 trillion to the White House's initial projection, which was made back in early February, according to the FT. Elsewhere as well, the US government, they've extended by 18 hours the deadline for the car dealers to file applications for rebates under the Cash for Clunkers scheme, as according to the FT. And out of Europe, some comments out of the European Central Bank member Mersch, saying that the current recovery is not sustainable and expects banks will have to make more bad loan provisions by year end. Mersch said without a global rise in demand there will be no investment or new jobs, and said as long as growth supported by public money cannot talk of a sustainable recovery. So relatively downbeat from Mersch from the ECB. In terms of broker moves, a couple just to be aware of on a sector basis. Europe metals and mining stocks are cut to neutral at JP Morgan. Obviously we are seeing basic materials stocks are underperforming so far in Europe, and European phone stocks raised though to overweight at JP Morgan. Take a look then on the calendar. 9:30 now, we'll look out for the UK BBA loan for home purchase numbers for July, and then that'll take us through. No 1:30s today from the US. We'll see S&P Case-Shiller at 2. That'll be alongside the Belgian business confidence level, often seen as pre-indicator to this week's German IFO that we'll see later on. The business confidence in Belgium again due at 2 o'clock. They are looking for a slight improvement to a headline of -20 against the previous -22.8. And then the main focus data-wise today will be US consumer confidence at 3 o'clock London, so 9 o'clock in Chicago. So for the month of August, headline expected at 48 to show a slight improvement against the previous 46.6. Other than that, speaker-wise, 10:30 we're looking out for S&B's Jordan. UK's Bank of England's Bean, he's due to speak at 5:15 this afternoon. And then we'll be eyeing the second Bank of England reverse auction, again targeting the longer durations, 2034 to 2055. And then we'll see the first of the US auctions today will be the 2-year notes, $42 billion worth at 6 o'clock London, so midday in Chicago.